So some of you might have seen some blog posts that I wrote 18 years ago that some people happened to find online. And it's not like they made a public document, like they put it on Facebook or they tweeted it out. And I'm sure most of you didn't see it, but that's okay. I'm gonna tell you about it anyway. And I know now more people will see it, but that's okay because we learn and we grow on this show and that's what we try to do together.
We can't get mad about that because apparently that type of behavior is acceptable. You just have to be a little more secretive about it.
No.
Okay, you can't be public about it. That's the only difference, right?
I totally disagree, okay?
And boy, back then did I have a lot of learning and growing to do. So some of the stuff that was written on there was,
Correction. Some of the stuff that I wrote.
Totally offensive, insensitive, ignorant. If you read it and go, wow, man, you need to learn a lot, you're absolutely right.
That's what guys talk about.
Oh, that's what guys talk about. And then they talk about grabbing women by the pussy.
They don't, but that's different. That's different.
So if any of you have already read it, I certainly apologize to the people who were offended by it because you were right to be offended. And it was a young, immature guy back then trying to show how cool he was by being edgy and politically incorrect.
A 29-year-old teacher in Michigan has been arrested for having sexual relations with her 15-year-old student. Now, she is facing a number of charges, including first-degree sexual conduct, 1 count of possession of sexually abusive material featuring a child, and also 1 count of furnishing alcohol to a minor.
Now, so here's the issue. She's hot, okay? And so I'm gonna get in trouble here, but I'm gonna ask you guys. Well, what I didn't realize back then, and I think that I've learned throughout these years, is that being politically incorrect sounds fun to you, I guess, when you're a young guy like that, but
any guys out there or any women out there, you're not allowed to talk about anybody's bodies and whether you would do them or not, okay? That's it, shush.
Not everybody sees it the same way. And if you're making jokes about sex as I was, you might see it a little bit differently if you look at it from the perspective of a woman who has been harassed or assaulted. Then you look at it from a completely different perspective, and understandably so. Yes, I have a double standard. Yes, the fact that she's very attractive colors the issue here. Yes, I denounce and reject myself for all of that. What we've been trying to do on this show for the entirety of its existence is to learn to empathize with one another. And
young college guys rated the appearance of young college women. Shocking, breaking news alert.
Look, it is not an easy process, and I've said probably about 1,000,000 times on this show, the hardest thing in the world is to escape your own perspective. And I wish I could go back to the younger Cenk and explain that to him.
I'm not done. Can I finish my point?
Okay.
Okay.
And if someone had written this stuff today, I would probably be harsh in criticizing them on air and try to explain that to them.
Didn't sexually assault anybody. So
just
like
because they didn't sexually assault anyone, just because they didn't put their hands on anyone, based on what we know,
No, don't you dare judge.
Doesn't mean that this isn't wrong. So look, if you agree with policies and laws against sexual harassment in the workplace, why doesn't this fall under that category?
So look, you guys have seen me. This was stuff that I wrote before we started the Young Turks, but you guys have seen me involved with your own eyes on the air on so many different issues. To assume that a 15-year-old boy who has sex with an attractive 29-year-old woman is going to have emotional damage for the rest of his life, I don't think that's a fair assumption.
But it's also sick to have 15-year-olds in porn, right? And anyone who downloads or consumes that type of pornography has to face prosecution. It's because it's a sick and perverted thing to do. It's a minor. They're not even supposed to be in pictures naked. So to have an adult, someone who's damn near 30, having sex with a 15-year-old male student is wrong. It's against the law. It's regardless of how horny you were at 15, it's not the way that it's supposed to go down.
Okay, you have won and you're right. Okay, if even my internal rule is 16, this is against my internal rule. So look, I can go on and on. In the beginning, I didn't believe in climate change. I had absurd ideas that mold wasn't real. Jesus, how weird is that? And so as I've told you dozens of times on the air, I held pro-war rallies when I was in college. I've written terrible things in college as well. And I think and I hope that I've learned a lot from that and grown a little bit. I wish I had grown up a little quicker. I believe 16 and this is my personal belief, you're an adult in my world, it's not the world that exists here, and learn to empathize with people way earlier than that. I think that I've been on the road to progress and justice for the last 15 years, and again, you guys have seen that. You've seen the movie Mad as Hell, which was a movie about this show. You see my transformation too, from the public access days to the radio days to the online and TV days. And so I'm asking for the people who have read it and were rightfully offended, of course, for your forgiveness, and for all of you, your understanding to some degree. And I hope that we continue to grow together on this show and start to and continue to spread that empathy to everyone involved. Now, look, I actually don't give money to the homeless, and you can judge me for that. And I hope that for those folks, again, who were rightfully offended, that being on the road to progress and justice, never fully arriving, but being on that road is a good thing, and that it's a positive note that we have gone through this journey together. So for all the mistakes that I have made in that journey, and they are plentiful, including those blog posts, of course I apologize. And by the way, I deleted them not yesterday when the news reports came out, but over a dozen years ago. You know why? Because I didn't stand by them. I looked at them and I was like, that is embarrassing.
So totally not guilty, in my opinion.
Suckers, losers, liberals. That is totally wrong and inappropriate. So I think and hope again that folks can come to an understanding where they say, I think this guy's getting a little better, you know, and everybody's got a lot of work to do, most especially me. So again, I hope you guys understand that, and that we continue conversations on this show that get us to a place where we see each other's perspectives better and have more empathy towards each other. And I'm certainly trying hard to do that. Thank you for putting up with me for all these years and through this as well.
Give me a thank you. Give me a thank you for feminists for getting your right to vote. Otherwise, stop voting and go make me a ham sandwich.
Just let me finish my point.